I'm telling you, Andy, it was a little cold getting here early this morning. Old man winter has arrived in Montana, everywhere. Be careful driving out there. I don't care how good you think you are driving. We have got a lot of out-of-town plates here in Great Falls and in Montana in general. So it might be their first below zero weather from California and Texas. Anybody from California or Texas can tell me, do you got 30 below there? Because we got it here, not this week, but Andy, below zero. Below zero this week. Man. Of course, tomorrow, it's going to be colder, colder, and colder. But tomorrow, remember, is election day. Snoop has voted. We have voted here. Doesn't matter how cold it gets tomorrow. There's a way to get there and vote. You got to go to the Expo Park to vote in person or drop off your ballot. I voted early, dropped it off downtown last week. Remember, you really can't bitch and complain and moan and groan about things if you haven't voted. You got to be a voice. No, my vote doesn't count. Every vote counts, okay? All votes count. So, can't bitch if you don't vote. Is that our new slogan here for today, tomorrow, the polls? I said I already voted. I'm not going to tell you how I voted across the board. They wanted to tax, a 3% tax on both medical and recreational marijuana. I voted yes for the recreational, no for the medical. No tax on medical. That's how I-90 was written up. I voted no on having to redo. I don't want them to redo the policy and amendment in the city code to prohibit marijuana dispensaries again. So I voted no on that. And I explained that both on social media and here in a couple podcasts. So voting no. And of course, we don't support candidates, but our good friend, David Grubrich, he's been in how many, Andy? 2 videos. He was at the fair with us, and he was at St. Patrick's Day. And both times, he was very welcoming and wanted us to be part of whatever he was doing and whatever help he could be helping me do whatever I do. So, David, you got our vote here. Remember, doesn't matter how cold it is tomorrow, and it's supposed to get cold. Tuesday, Wednesday, tomorrow, next day, Thursday, cold, we need to get it a little better. We're supposed to be 40 degrees below normal. So, the elections, again, are winding up everywhere, nationwide. Already, I'm getting to that. Already I read several reporting outlets, both left and right and middle of the road, are reporting that apparently, Pennsylvania and Arizona had a couple of hot races. I mean, they're neck and neck. There's a good one down there in Georgia with Herschel. All the kids that Herschel had are coming out of the closet, He had some abortions. He didn't have some abortions. He paid for abortions. He didn't pay for abortions. He's anti. He's pro-life. He's got kids that are not claimed. So, he's got his hands full, literally. But the Georgia race is tight. But Arizona and Pennsylvania apparently have reported that both the Republican candidates are already saying that the big lie, if they lose, the election was fixed, and of course they're going to want to recount. So it seems to be the mantra for some people. Not all, but some people. Now, I can't, I just said, the lie, the election. You want to keep telling us, the public, me, that the elections, the last elections, and the elections now are just like the Black Sheep movie with Chris Farley, rest in peace, Chris, but love you, brother, and David Spade. Now, the premise of that movie was Al Donnelly, that was Chris Farley's older brother, was running for the governor of Washington against an old stick-in-the-mud patriarch, the type, okay? And Chris was like, he's a fumbling, bumbling thing of nature. So the whole premise of the movie was keeping Chris out of the limelight. Andy, I got to tell it, remember the Get Out and Vote segment? Get out and vote for Al Donnelly for governor. Chris is all wasted. He's getting wasted with the black reggae band that was playing for Get Out the Vote for MTV. And he wasn't high, but he was high, and he was getting on contact high, and the next thing you know, he's out on stage going freaking crazy, Vote for Donnelly! Vote for Al Donnelly! Burn, baby, burn! Remember that? Just going nuts. The whole premise, well, I had a similar story, but let me finish the movie first. Whole premise of the movie is that dead people were voting in Washington, and Gary Busey and Chris Farley, with the help of David Spade, uncovered the big lie in the governor race in Washington, which is kind of what they're saying in Arizona right now. And of course, they solved the crisis, and Al Donnelly won the election with the help of lovable Chris Farley. That's what you're trying to make me believe. Dead people are voting, and nobody's catching it, or people are catching it and they're not saying anything. What, Andy? The story? The part of the movie with the MTV, get out and vote. Get out and vote, MTV. He's getting high. He's getting high with the reggae band, and then he gets out on stage. And I had a similar story. I was living in Nebraska. It was the 80s. Enough said. I worked for a radio station and a nightclub called Uncle Sam's. They were chain nightclubs. And the story has Chris Farley being all wasted on stage, making an idiot of himself. In the 80s, we booked Aerosmith, and they played at the Husker Stadium. It was outdoors. I don't know what year, 82, 83. Well, it'd be 83 or 6, 9, or... Did I hear a 9er in there? Mid-80s. the radio station in conjunction with a promotion company, in conjunction with the University of Nebraska Arts Department, and in conjunction with the nightclub chain Uncle Sam's, brought Aerosmith, and Andy, it escapes me who the warm-up band was. They were good. I should remember. I want to say, no, wasn't them. Anyway, before I had press passes, and before the concert, I was backstage. It was the 80s, and I met all the band members, and a couple of them I didn't like. They were very aloof. One of them, who I won't name, he plays lead guitar, but I won't say his name. He wanted to know if, the guy with the press pass in the back, the radio dude, and the bar dude, the promoter dude, knew where to get any blow. Cocaine, for those that aren't hip to name blow. Whole movie was named Blow. Johnny Depp, Penelope Cruz, I did. It was the 80s, and we went back to his dressing room where we proceeded to drink Jack Daniels right out of the bottle and partake in recreational usage of a controlled substance that was everywhere in the 80s, Pablo Escobar. All right, so long story short, they didn't have an MC. Next thing you know, this guy's pushing me up on stage. Here I am on stage looking out on the crowd, Andy, and the next thing you know, I'm like, whoa, am I just wasted? Everybody's giving me a standing ovation because I'm wasted, and the movie just reminds me of that time, just making an ass of yourself being wasted on stage. So all of that because I brought up Black Sheep, because of the elections tomorrow in Pennsylvania and Arizona. One is Senator House and the Senate and House of Georgia, and the Arizona one is governor. Please, anybody know for sure? Let me know, because that's what I'm running with. House, Senate, governor. Got Herschel, Mehmet Oz. Was it Oprah? Am I right? Oprah? Was it Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz, right? Andy, is that right, everybody? And now he's like running for office, and he's like a television dude, and we've had haven't we done this before? Man. But they are tomorrow. Don't let anybody, anywhere, tell you can't vote. Go vote. If you got to walk to vote, walk to vote. If there's people standing around in front of the door, that are scared, scary looking, you know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. Just ask them if they're in the way. Excuse me, please. Sir, ma'am, whatever. Polite, non-threatening. You're just going to exercise your American right to vote if you're registered. I say that if you're registered. And so you're not like a dead person in the governor of Washington race with Al Donnelly and Mike Donnelly, Chris Farley, and Black Sheep. So it's not Black Sheep. Dead people aren't voting. But live people need to get out and vote. If you want your vote heard, you need to get out and vote. The polls are open. I think, Andy, can you go there today, Monday? You can go there today and tomorrow. The Expo Park here in Great Falls. That's for all of Great Falls County and city limits and all of that. So, yeah, get out and vote. Watch Black Sheep when you're done voting. And then you'll be saying, well, that's how they did it. They had Gary Busey and Chris Farley. They solved the dilemma. They solved the crime. You would have thought that if Gary Busey and Chris Farley can figure out voter fraud and conspiracy with the help of David Spade that the people that are saying that dead people and there's a conspiracy could have proved it. Because, I mean, come on. Gary Busey and Chris Farley, that's some pretty reputable shit there, don't you think? Bees! That's from Tommy, yeah, I know. Getting them mixed up. What else is going on, Andy? Paul. I wanted you, Paul. Paul Pelosi. For those of you who don't know who Paul Pelosi is, he is the husband of majority leader Nancy Pelosi. He was attacked about a week and a half ago at his home in San Francisco, California. He was attacked now, what we know is a mental health client with troubling past, troubling history, broke into the house and hit an 82-year-old man in the head with a hammer. Seriously, he put him in the hospital. Andy, how long was he there? A week? Got out Saturday, okay? Day before yesterday, got out. There's people online. Social media is just having a blast with this. Marjorie Taylor Greene claims it didn't happen. Andy, we've talked on the show here, we've talked on the podcast now and then. I've done comedy off and on for a long time. I've been to live shows with some of the greats. You know, I've seen George Carlin. I missed Lenny Bruce. Seen Sam Kinison, Jerry Seinfeld doing stand-up. Robin Williams. Even Andrew Dice Clay. Nowhere in my history of doing comedy was a innocent civilian, and I don't give a rat's ass what you think of Nancy Pelosi. I don't give a rat's ass what political affiliation you are. It's not okay for someone to break into someone's house and hit an 82-year-old man in the head. I don't care who he's married to. It's not okay. Would it be funny if it was your dad or grandpa? Should the next time somebody in Great Falls has, oh, my dad was mugged. Fuck, that's fucking funny. All it is, right? It's funny, right? I see the memes, the jokes. You're all big comedians out there. It's funny. How is it funny? How is it fucking funny? Tell me. Is it that twisted? And then all you're doing is you're just normalizing that kind of behavior. Well, that's funny. A mental health client broke into someone's house and he hurt the guy bad. I don't remember Robin Williams, Billy Crystal, George Carlin, Andrew Dice Clay, Dennis Leary, Jerry Seinfeld. I don't remember none of them making fun of someone getting attacked in a home invasion. Would it be funny if I came to your house? Where's your grandpa? I wanted him in the head with a freaking hammer. It's funny, remember? No, it ain't funny. It did happen. It's normalizing bad, maladaptive behavior, and it's not cool. It's not funny. I've done stand-up. Some of you guys that are posting memes, I was doing stand-up and radio work. And you were still in grade school. Now it's like, it's funny. Someone got hit in the head in the hammer, and I'm going to post a meme by it. It's weak and it's funny to make fun of shit like that. The same people that fucking just scroll past a dog abuse and child abuse and women rapes and issues. You just scroll past that because, you know, it's funny people getting the head. It just infuriates me, Andy. How people think not one of you could do stand-up, not one of you could do a podcast, not one of you could do anything. You're just sitting there posting tasteless jokes, and they're not good. I'm sorry, it just makes me crazy, man. People go on and go on about it. It's not funny. A man was attacked. He was in the hospital for a week. He's in his 80s, and he was hit in the head with a hammer. It's not funny. It was a home invasion. I know. All right, what's going else on? The ads. You pointed this out. Andy pointed this ad to me this morning. I ran it through a couple of resources, watched the ad. The Florida race with Ron DeSantis ran an ad. Now Ron's he's a smug Yale graduate with a history documented of sleeping, partying, hanging out with his students when he taught at that smaller university in Georgia. A jock. Now, with his ad that he's running for, is it Florida governor? Is that what it is, Andy? It's like, it's a religious ad, first of all. And it shows Ron and his family, and then it shows them again, and it's like, on the 8th day, God created Ron DeSantis. You believe that shit? Didn't we, as a nation, found this country because we were tired of religious persecution and, having religion and, we're going to have, isn't there something about church and state? Okay? And, the ad campaign is that, God wants Florida governor to win. It's like, do you really believe that God, whoever it is taking the time out of all the world events to get involved in a political race anywhere in the country? Here, there, anywhere. Yeah, I think I should get involved in this Senate race, this city race, this state race, county race of bumfuck who knows where and who knows where. Does the Bible say free will, Andy? That's why he doesn't. That's why children suffer and dogs are tortured. Yeah, free will. He lets that going on. Cancer with kids is okay, but I'm going to get involved in the governor race in Florida because on the 8th day. It's not even sacrilegious. That is presumptuous. Got a thesaurus that I could get some other words here for. It's preposterous. I predicted, another football weekend. Big things. Alabama lost their second game. They're out. Number 1 Tennessee was beat by number 1 Georgia. How could that be? They were number 1 in different polls. Number 2 won. Number 4 lost. Clemson lost. Notre Dame smoked them. Michigan won big. The first half, I was like nail biter almost, Andy. It was like, what the hell is Harbaugh doing? Next thing I know, it's like, it's 58 to not, The Lions continue continue to disappoint me. If you remember back in my preview show for the fall football forecast, and you remember that? Good times. Wrong all the way across. Alabama I had out, got that right. Had Michigan in there, we'll see. Had Georgia in, we'll see. They looked awful good beating Tennessee. I said the Lions, I said the Detroit Lions were going to be good this year. That they made good moves, that they had a good coach, and good things will happen. The curse of Bobby Lane is alive and well. Who's Bobby Lane, do you say? Back in the 50s, before expansions, they played for the NFL championships. You had Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions. I shit you not, were powerhouses. Detroit won 3 championships in the 50s. They were, was it 53, 54, 57? 54, 50, okay. Bobby Lane was our savior. He was our Brett Favre at the time. He was the best quarterback in professional football. He was a fan favorite, future Hall of Famer for sure, and after winning our last championship in the 50s and 57, I was born 56, I don't even remember when we were good. He was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1958. On his pack in his locker, he was slamming madder than crap, going on and on and on. Press asked him. Everybody asked him. Said the Lions won't win a championship or playoff games for the next 60 years. It's kind of like the Babe Ruth curse. How long? A long time. Okay? The whole Babe Ruth, Boston, Yankees, the whole curse going. We have the Bobby Lane curse. I don't. It's been more than 60 years, you would think, that we would. But no. It's tough being a Lions fan. It's tough being a Wolverine fan my whole life. But we've had some good years. What's going on, Andy? Putin just Sunday morning our time, which would be Monday afternoon their time. He had a meeting. It was a public meeting. And it was going on a rhetoric again, Putin's again, going on rhetoric about the tactical nukes. And he specifically said, look, when the United States dropped a tactical nuke in World War II, they didn't hit Tokyo. They hit an industrial center, factory center, something that would, supply troops, an important outlet. Just like we wouldn't tactical nuke Kyiv. So he's already saying elsewhere is okay. We're not going to hit, the capital and Zelensky and Kyiv and stuff, and we're not going to hit the reactor, but, you know, it'd be all right if we hit something like, you know, the United States did in World War II. And, of course, the outcry is like, and China stepped in, and Sunday afternoon, which would be Monday night, Wednesday, I don't know. We should have like a ring of clocks up there, like all over the world, like the old press box. And it's telling China anyway. China said, look, dude, no. And I've said that all along. I've had people say, China. China don't want shit. They don't want us nuking people. They don't want Russia nuking people. They want to keep building stuff and doing China stuff. They don't want a nuclear war. So you got Putin that. So you got to worry about him all the time. He's old. I see his hands are shaking and they're discolored, and he just looks messed up, Andy. You know, he should just call it a wash in the Ukraine and walk away. So remember, people, tomorrow is your voting day, your constitutional right. Our forefathers, our veterans fought in our wars for our way of life. Get out and vote. Tomorrow's your last day. You've got to go. If you've got your ballots, I don't think, Andy, can you register in the morning? Can you go and register same day vote registration? You can? You're not sure? We're not sure. Just get out and make sure you got that vote. Make sure, because every vote counts. It's going to be cold tomorrow. Remember, Putin's saying it's okay to do a tactical, so kiss your dogs. Keep the duck and cover drill, except for in New York, which you got to go inside, go under some furniture, and downstairs, Andy, and get the subway and take it to Jersey, and, you know, everybody else just duck and cover. Ain't going to do no good. I'm told that. And meanwhile, nothing's for sure. So, spay and neuter all them good boys and girls. Adopt, don't shop, rescue, foster, save them all, get out. Help dogs and vote, Andy. There's our motto. Dogs and vote for this Monday morning. Have a great Monday morning. It's cold. Drive safe. Get a chance to vote today and tomorrow. Vote for dogs. Vote for voting dogs. Vote dogs. That's right. Vote and dogs. That's it, Andy, right? Till next Monday. Voting dogs, okay?